program is funded by grants from Nebraskans for Public Television, the Nebraska Arts Council, and the Lincoln Jazz Society.
My days are long and dreary, and the sun refused to shine. I'd never be blue and lonely if I knew that you were mine. Well, baby, why don't you make everything all right? Now, will it be today, baby, or will it be tomorrow night? Confession, mama, and I'm thrilled for all your charm. You know that I'm in heaven when you hold me in your arms. Well, baby, and I have you for myself. You are meant for me, mama. I don't want nobody else.
Did you want me to turn that book that way or what? Turn it this way? Or like this? Now, when this picture was taken, this had to be during the Dave Dexter days, see? So that was right around 1938. And that was our first trip to Savoy Ballroom in New York. Lucky, you know, us on guitar. Gene Ramey on bass, Gus Johnson on drums, Bob Mabine tenor sax, Les Bird on alto, John Jackson on alto, and Freddie Culliver on tenor. Now, you notice there was only 4 saxophones. Well, later on, after we got to make a little bit more money, then we were able to add the baritone sax. By that time, we had just used the 4. Our first record was made in Dallas. Dave told us, he says, what I'm working on, he says, I want something that we can sell. He says, we've lost about 2 hours and a half. He says, I can't sell it. He said, do y'all know any blues? Yeah. So we played the blues down. Do any boogie woogie? Yeah, we played the boogie woogie down. He cut it. So he told us, he said, well, I tell you, he said, do another blues. He said, and I'll take one of those other tunes.
Indeed. Thank you, Jay and boys. That little earful was knocked out like the soul of a whipped spud. And now, men, we call on McShann with the Jay frontispiece for a little chopper banging about the winder-upper. Go ahead, Jay.
The boys and I want to do one of our favorite tunes for you. It's called Jump the Blues.
We had a big laugh. We were in Tulsa, Oklahoma, because I had the big band then. We found out we knew we were supposed to start playing about 9 o'clock. So, well, I guess about 8:30, we all started showing up there at this club. So he thought, by the name being McShann, he was getting the white bands. So we got there that night. And the guy came up there to the bandstand. He says, when is the band going to show? We said, well, the band's here. Most of the guys are here, just 1 or 2. And he says, well, wait a minute. He says, it's been a mistake. So he ran up to the office there, and he called this guy that was booking us. Told him, says, hey, what's happening here? Says, you must have made some kind of mistake. This guy says, No, what? He says, well, there's a band here. He says, they got a colored band here. He says, I thought I was buying a white band. So the guy said, no. He says, McShann, that's a colored band. I can remember sometimes when we did as many as 91 nighters in a row, and 91 nighters is mean, you know. During that time, because cats was all young, and they could take it, you know. It didn't make no difference, you know. It was just, you know, if they got tore up tonight, it didn't mean a thing. The next morning, they strong, back and ready to go again. Yeah. Everybody there's one thing about those guys, everybody didn't try to play like Bird. They enjoyed Bird, they loved Bird, but most of those guys were stylists within themselves. That was Piggy Minor. He was you know, brass man, but he was quite a stylist. But later his teeth got bad, and that shut him off. And Bernard Anderson, he had what they call TB, you know. So the doctor stopped him from playing the brass and the trumpet, you know. In Muskogee, Oklahoma. Let's see, it was January the 12th, 1916. It was 4 kids in the family, 3 girls and 1 boy. And I'm the boy. I can remember way back, I don't know, I guess it must have been about, maybe 4 or 5 years old, you know. Oh, man, he would just kind of fool around on the piano, you know. And the same thing like with my mother, but they never did, you know. And he only had one tune that he knew, and he taught me that tune once. And it's just a little jive thing, you know what I mean? Sometimes the bands would come over to school and do 2 or 3 numbers for, we'd call it assembly, you know. My folks, they were pretty Christian-like. They didn't like the idea of me wanting to go to dances and things like that. So if I went, I'd have to, you know, do it in another manner, you know, like sneak off or something, you know. And
hello, little girl, don't you remember me? Hello, little girl, don't you remember me? Now the time ain't been so long, but I've had a break, you see. Well, I'm doing all right, oh yeah. Well, I found a little Cupid doll.
well, when I first came to Kansas City, see, I didn't have any bread. You know, I guess I probably had about 60 or 70 cents on me. But I ran into one of the guys that I knew from Tulsa, see. He was playing bass with Bus Moten's band, and he's the one that gave me the idea to stay in Kansas City. He said, man, he says, is this where you want to stay? He says, this is where the music is. You don't want to be going to Omaha. He says, come on here, you know. They didn't have a piano player. So I heard the guys talking, well, man, I don't know what we're going to do for a piano player. So I sat and listened to them rehearse, and after they got through rehearsing, then I told one of the guys, I said, well, listen, y'all still need a piano player. I says, I think I can make it. I said, well, I think I can play this stuff. He said, well, why don't you say something, man? You've been sitting down there. Why don't you say something? Come on up. Well, you know, I couldn't read a note of music, you know. They put all this big orchestration out in front of me, you know. But I had heard them rehearsing, so I just went ahead on and played on along with them. They says, man, we got a piano player that can read and fake. But I couldn't read a note. Yeah, they thought I was reading, but I was just faking. I kept waiting for the guys to start off. I said, come on, when you guys was, they said, you got it. I said, what? You got it. They said, there it is. You got the first full bars, piano solo. We had been doing a lot of one-night stands, and we did a one-night stand in Kansas City, and that's where they picked me up on this one night in Kansas City. We were taking a break doing intermission, so these two guys come over. They told me, it says, we've got to talk to you. It says, it's very important. I said, we hate to do this, but we've got to take you to Leavenworth right now. I said, Leavenworth? I said, well, what's happening in Leavenworth? He says, they've got you up for immediate inductions. He says they haven't been able to find you, so they've been sending you papers all over the country, and he says, we've got to take you right now. When I walked inside the gates, I was in.
Louder and funnier. Play that thing. Louder and funnier.
Oh, I was in the service about 13 months. And, well, that broke the band up, you know, right there. I didn't realize that big bands was over with then, just in that short length of time. See, because they had started these small combos, and then most of the dance hall were being converted into bowling alleys. And so I came out, and I went back to New York. In fact, I organized in New York City. And so the guys that was doing the booking told me, they says, well, we know you like the big band sound. They says, but I'll tell you what, says, you might as well forget about it for the time being. They said, because everything is going to be combo. He said, that's it. I'm a